Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the West End Imps show. I am your host, Jake. I'm joined by Chris. Chris, how are you feeling after yesterday?
Morning, Todge. Doing all right. Couldn't let it go, could I?
No.
Yeah, fine. Feeling good. Just come out of the ice bath, so I'm full of good energy.
I've just come out of a very extremely hot shower, so maybe we're complete opposites, and maybe we might agree and disagree. Right. Yesterday, then, I think we both knew coming into the game, and I think this is as a whole collective fan base, that yesterday was going to be a task. Peterborough are a very, very good outfit. And it showed, didn't it, really? In terms of team selection, Chris, unchanged, it seemed from the win at Oxford. What did you think of the team?
Yeah, unsurprising. I think Bishop in the midfield, it's Bishop or Oakley Booth seems to be the choice at the minute, doesn't it? With Ben House picking up that knock. So, yeah, I think it was pretty much as full strength as we could have been. And yeah, like you say, I think we were all expecting or predicting or feeling that it was going to be an incredibly difficult game, and that if we came away with anything, that would be a huge result. And as it happened, we came away with nothing. But I don't think that was a huge surprise.
No, and I think this might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I thought we sort of stuck with Peterborough until they scored the first goal. I think we had quite a few opportunities. Jordan Garrick was getting a lot of luck down that right-hand side, wasn't he? Did really well to beat his fullback. I thought we looked comfortable in the game, to be honest with you, because I don't know how you felt sort of the first 10, 15 minutes, but I thought we were well and truly in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say comfortable for me. They'd hit the post and the bar within the first 10 minutes. And I think at that point, I was thinking, oh, maybe luck's on our side and we might come away with something. But we sort of attempted to match them as best we could. I think our midfield got overran. And yeah, I just think that once that first goal goes in, it's a very, very hard game. We're not going to be a high-scoring team, I don't think, this season, and it's going to be imperative for us moving forward that first goal is crucial. So yeah, I think it was. We matched them, I guess, to an extent, but yeah, what was it, 13 minutes or so that first goal goes in, and yeah, I just didn't see any way back after that.
Yeah, a ball over from, I think it was Joe Ward, switched play into Marriott, had probably 5 yards of space, and a striker who has cut it at this level over the last couple of years, as well as the level above. You can't give him that amount of room. And you can be critical of Jordan Wright. Perhaps it's quite close to him, but it's one hell of a finish, isn't it, Chris?
It is. Great goal. I mean, all the goals were good goals, although some were of our own making. I think watching it live at the ground, I think we were all kind of just saying, yeah, fair play, brilliant goal. And then watching it back last night, you're right. I think Jordan Wright could have potentially been better positioned and possibly done a little bit better. But, he's a fantastic player. We were talking on the bus back with some lads about their striking duo of Marriott and what's his name, Clark
Harris.
I would think we probably won't see a better pairing than that in any of the other teams across the division. I think Marriott really impressed me. Ward really impressed me. And Clark Harris does what Clark Harris does. He's an exceptional footballer. I think the goal was really, they were constantly doing that long ball over the top, weren't they? And it was working for them every time. So, they just had a good game plan and we couldn't match it.
We'll move on to the second goal. Then it was obviously the penalty. I don't know about you, Chris, but when I first watched it, it looked like an absolute calamity of errors. It looked like Jordan Wright was going to come and claim the long ball. Regan Poole then sticks his head in the way and heads it into the box, where their striker looks like he's got a clean winning on goal. But Paudie O'Connor, and in fairness, Chris, I said this to you on the coach back, I didn't think it was a penalty given the fact that it was a good tackle. I think the referees made the wrong decision, but at the end of the day, she made that call. We'll get on to the referee after we finish discussing the game as well. There's something we do need to talk about there as well, Chris. But regardless, she gave a penalty, and Clark Corris stuck it away nicely.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you said. You know, it wasn't a penalty. It was given as a penalty, and I think there was only one outcome. Only ever going to be one outcome. Had chances to get rid again, which, you know, is disappointing, or frustrating rather. And yeah, you know, I mean, it's a penalty, isn't it? Like we said after the Oxford game, soft penalty, definite penalty. Not if it's given, it's a penalty, isn't it? And you know, he finishes it well. Keeper no chance. 2-0. I think pretty much game over, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then the third went in. Just a good goal from Peter. I think I've seen people laying the blame at the feet of Jamie Robson. I think that's pretty unfair. You know, I think it's just really a really good ball into the box, and Clark Harris, who last time he was in this division, Chris, scored 30 goals as Peterborough got promoted. It's just good movement, and it's just good anticipation from him to be at the back post.
Yeah.
Yes, the marking could probably be a little bit better, and it could be avoidable, but you just got to take your hat off. And without sounding like a broken record, Peterborough were just that, weren't they? They were just that bit quicker, that bit stronger, that bit cuter than us all afternoon.
Yeah, I think you have to have a bit of perspective, don't you? I think they're still a championship side. They've got that squad that they had in the championship pretty much together still. They have had that squad for a couple of years now with a few changes, but, you know, we're at the very beginning of putting our squad together under Mark Kennedy and playing how Mark Kennedy wants. And they're 2-3 years ahead in terms of what they're doing on the pitch. You could see that with the balls and the runs they were making. They just were completely in tune with each other. So, you know, I just don't think it could have been, you know, it could have been 5, 6, 7. Second half, we definitely improved, but was that because they just didn't have anything really that they had to do? They could just conserve energy, couldn't they? But I don't really think it's fair to apportion blame when you're up against a team that's significantly better than we are. I think it was a humbling defeat. I think it's probably something that the players hopefully will learn a great deal from, because that's the benchmark, isn't it? That's the type of team we're striving to become. We're probably 4 or 5 years behind that. And it showed that we're a decent mid-table League One side, and I think that's reality. And I'm happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And half time came then, Chris, and Mark Kennedy did try and switch it up. To be fair to him, he took Anthony Scully off, which I believe he received quite a bit of online abuse when he once that had happened. Looked like people before the game that there had been rumours that there's a lot of interest in Anthony Scully from Championship and League One clubs. We'll talk about that later. But Sean Rowan came on and changed system. We went 5 at the back, similar to what we did on Tuesday night when we were winning 2-1. And ultimately, that change at the back didn't particularly help because it cost us another goal really early on.
Yeah, I just think it was a complete lack of communication between O'Connor and Rowan. And you know, it just came, what was it, 2-3 minutes into the second half. And after that, actually, I thought Rowan had a pretty good game. And I think we did look a lot more solid, and they weren't getting as many chances in behind. But I think they just hadn't quite got up to speed in that second half with that shuffle of formation and bringing in Sean. But again, you know, that's probably for me the only goal you can lay any blame at anyone's door for, because they just stopped, didn't they? They were looking at each other, who's going for it, and Marriott just strides through and tucks it away nicely under the keeper. Again, probably very little that Jordan Wright could have done about it.
And to be honest, I think, you know, I won't be the only one, but I didn't particularly watch much of the second half. I think this nicely moves us on to the man of the match award, doesn't it?
The atmosphere took over, didn't it?
Yeah.
4-0 down, you've given up on the game, so let's just have a great day out. And that's what it became. And it's what it was from, you know, getting on the coach at 8:30.
And we both said, big shout out, by the way, to Andy's Fun Bus. Really good day out. We had such a great time. And if you get the opportunity to go with Andy and his lot again, honestly, get involved, because it is such a great day out. We had a great time. we both gave man of the match to the fans. We both
Yeah.
wanted to hide it until this morning, but we ultimately came to the same decision on the coach home. The fans, wow, 1,600 of us, was it?
Yeah.
Made it feel like a home game. Tom Hopper and Mark Kennedy both came out in the post match and said that. But Lincoln City supporters are absolutely world class, and it feels like they're getting behind the football club at the moment, doesn't it?
100%. It's that unity and that connection. And you know, I don't think I'm being biased. Maybe I am, but I don't think I am in saying that I can't think of another club whose supporters are going to be giving that second half noise when you're 4-0 down away from home. I just, you know, Peterborough were frankly awful support. You know, there was they cheer when they scored a goal and that was it, and it was very disappointing from their perspective. But I don't think that's a surprise because I don't think they've ever had. They travel well and make a good noise when they've ever been to us, but at home I just think it was really flat, and we it was just brilliant in that away end. You know, it was just such a great sense of, do you know what, we've been beaten by the better side, but by God, we're going to stick by the lads and we're going to make ourselves heard so that they realise that we're still behind them and that one poor result, one poor performance is not going to change that. And I think, again, I said it earlier this week after the Oxford game, Kennedy's got a lot to do with that kind of connection that's been brought back and that unity within the squad, within the team, within the fan base. You know, we're all just pulling together in the same direction. And you know, being beaten by Peterborough, of course I'm not happy by it. I'm never going to be happy to get beaten. But you've just got to say sometimes that the significantly better team won.
And it sort of showed in the post-match appreciation. The players and the management team came right over and stood there in a little bit of awe that
absolutely
the supporters had stayed there. But Chris, with the good, there is the bad. The referee, a female referee who had previously refereed at the Women's European Finals over the summer. Granted, she didn't have the best of games, but I think you can say that regardless of that had nothing to do with the fact that she was a female. And I'm really disappointed in sections of the fan base that felt the need to hurl sexist abuse at the female referee. I mean, I didn't specifically hear it, but I have seen lots of people on social media condemning it. Obviously, we take that same view, don't we?
Absolutely. It's incredibly sad. A poor referee's a poor referee. I actually think that she didn't have as bad a game as people think. The first half maybe wasn't great, but definitely an improved second half. But, you know, a poor referee's a poor referee. Call that out, absolutely. But it has absolutely nothing to do with gender, sexuality, race. That's all completely irrelevant. And to hear and read what other people have experienced at the ground. I was with you, so again, I didn't personally hear that, but I've seen a lot of people quoting what they were hearing, and it's just sad, tragic, and I hope those people have the capacity to just look at themselves in the mirror and think, I was a bit of a prick yesterday. Because there's no place for it in the game. There's no place for it in the game, and yeah, I just hope the club come out and actually there's a way of identifying and punishing those that behave in that manner, because it's just awful, utterly awful.
Yeah, it seemed to spoil a really class day out for a lot of our female supporters. Obviously, the football club have made massive strides to try and become more inclusive with the Lady Imps, and the work they do is phenomenal. So we'll try and stay positive. One last thing to mention, Chris, unless I've completely forgotten anything. Kennedy alluded to in his post-match interview that he expects a player in on Monday. We're highly anticipating that player to be Alex Gilby of Charlton Athletic. Whether this is a loan or a permanent deal, it's one that I can certainly get behind. A combative midfielder who has done it before at this level, plays a consistent number of games at this level, and affects games at this level also.
Yeah, I'm looking. If that is the case, then I'm really looking forward to it, and I really back it as well. It's the type of player that we could have really done with yesterday. And that's no disrespect to Lass, because I think he's been outstanding this season, but I think he does need to have some competition for that position, which I guess is where Gilby will fit in that sort of holding role. And yeah, we are in need of someone who can fill and support that position. but yeah, you know, or it could be the other highly rumoured young man that's supposed to be coming is the Sunderland guy, isn't it, Jack Diamond? But my preference would be to see Gilby announced early next week, ready for the very difficult game against Fleetwood, which is the game we should win. And I think going back to comment that I made earlier about perspective, you know, we've had 5 games now in the league, 2 at home, which we've drawn, 3 away. We've won 1, drawn 1, lost 1. I think that's a really good return. When you look on paper, Oxford away, Portsmouth away, Peterborough away, I don't think many of us would have thought we'd come away with a great deal from those 3 games, and to come away with 4 points, I think is a really great achievement. I think it's fantastic, and you know, we move on, we keep going, and Saturday we should be looking at picking up the first home win, in my opinion, anyway. Any
other business that we need to cover, Chris? That I can't think of anything we've missed.
No, not for me. Just again, a big shout out to all the guys, girls, gents, ladies, boys and girls that were on the coach yesterday. It was a super day out, and you know, the fan base, the support in that away end. I can't remember an away end being like that since MK away a few years back, where it was just you know, just great, and we were losing 4-0. And I think that just says so much, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for coming on again, Chris, and sparing your Sunday morning before you go off and have lunch with your family. Massively appreciated. Thank you, everybody else, for watching. Please make sure that we like, comment, and subscribe. We're nearly at 650 subscribers at the moment. If we could push towards 1,000 by the end of the 2022, we've got content coming out of your ears. So please make sure you go read the blog, listen to the pod. There's YouTube videos up at least twice a week at the moment. So make sure you go and check all of that out. But for now, Chris, up the Imps.
Up the Imps.